Round number 4 is getting kicked off now. We have got a battle of the Titans. Alex Carpenter, your 2024 and 2025 Full Grip Games Gym Leader Challenge League champion. Also your first ever Full Grip Games Gym Leader Challenge Invitational champion. The most accomplished Gym Leader Challenge player at our local league here in Akron, Ohio, playing the Psychic Garbodor deck, which he did end up playing to the Mega Evolution $3,000 cash event as well. And Ben Morse on the left, your Journey Together Gym Leader Challenge $1,000 cash tournament champion. He was playing his colorless deck at that event. And today, he is playing Palatoad. It is a water deck featuring, you guessed it, Palafin and Seismitoad. But it does look like Ben is maybe looking at a potential early item lock. Ben is playing Cryogonal, which is a basic Pokemon with 90 hit points. Got a little 1 energy attack. And item locks the opponent, making it so that they cannot play any items. Now Ben going to take a serious look at his deck. Ben is itching for a badge so far this year. Has not earned one yet. So you know he is chomping at the bit to get a badge on that board. Put himself in the badge race. Alex Carpenter sitting pretty with 3 badges already. And is already the badge leader for the 2026 season with those 3 badges. John Patterson, who won last week with his version of this Palatoad deck that Ben is playing now, is at 2 badges. So John Patterson is the next winningest player at our league so far. The season just reset in July, so we're not too far along now. But Ben is looking like he's playing very carefully, very thoughtfully, so that he doesn't make any errors as he pursues his first badge of the year, this 5-round Gym Leader Challenge League Night. He knows that he has the potential to do it. He was the 2024 Full Grip Games Gym Leader Challenge League runner-up right behind Alex. They actually tied in the badge race and had to do a conquest playoff, which Alex ended up winning to take the title of league champion. Both of them earned 8 badges in that year. And now, Ben Morse did not win a ton of badges last year. I think he was just like a handful, which is still like a good year. I mean, like, you know, he won some badges, but he wasn't at like the 8 badge spots that he was at in 2024. And Alex went back-to-back 8 badges to win both the 2024 and the 2025 GLC League seasons, and has obviously started off very well this year with 3 badges. So Ben, you know, I think the 1K win for Ben was a very big deal, and you know, really helped him to, I think, really feel good about his play and kind of and how things were going for him as a player, despite the fact that he didn't, you know, have the most badges that he had. You know, being able to spike a big tournament like that. Now, on the other side of the coin, that's something Alex Carpenter's never been able to do. Alex Carpenter has not been able to finish in the top 8 of any of our major cash Gym Leader Challenge tournaments. So you kind of have 2 players with 2 different accolades, which is one of the reasons why I really love watching Ben and Alex Carpenter play against each other, because they both have big accomplishments at different things. Ben, you know, is also a very competent standard player, as he finished in the top 8 of our Journey Together, standard 3K with Gardevoir. And I think Ben is also a League Cup winner. Like in standard for like randomly, like a lot of our Gym Leader Challenge players are like exclusively Gym Leader Challenge players. But Ben is also like won a League Cup before, you know? Which is not something that everybody can say. I mean, I very vividly remember the first time I ever won a League Cup, right? And it's like kind of when you're in the mix of a, you know, getting into the Pokemon trading card game, like that is a big hump to get over for sure. Getting to that point where, you know, you kind of understand the game well enough, and your deck well enough, and the format well enough to win a League Cup is pretty exciting accomplishment for any aspiring Pokemon TCG player. Let's see. So Alex retreats into Cleffa, uses Grasping Draw, fill his hand to 7. The Arvin there, good supporter for Alex, allowing him to go get the tool to retreat and the Buddy Poffin to go get Cleffa. Alex's board state now seems pretty solid. I mean, not 2 on the bench is good, can help pump energy into play with the Zot 2 that evolves from it, with the Clairvoyant Sensibility. Can also help him to draw cards. But then the big thing to watch out for is the Garbodor, of course, with the Garbotoxin ability. If this Pokemon has a tool card attached to it, all abilities stop working. So a tough card for ability-reliant decks like the Water deck to deal with. Could be a major component of this game. Also, notably, turns off the Seismitoad's Quaking Zone ability, which is one of the more difficult abilities to play around for any deck. It is one of the strongest parts of Ben's deck, is the Quaking Zone Seismitoad. So with Alex having the option to shut that ability off completely by just putting a tool card onto his Garbodor, I mean, that's a really big deal. Looks like Ben is going to go get that Cryogonal onto the bench, so maybe we'll see that Cryogonal start to instate some item lock. I don't think I have Cryogonal downloaded on my computer. How sad is this? So sad. This Cryogonal's been out for a long time. It was printed in Unified Minds. So yeah, this card's been around for a while. Starting to see a little bit more play lately with how, and this is something that has been kind of like an evolution of Gym Leader Challenge format. I was talking about it a little bit between rounds. As the Pokemon Company has continued to print stronger and stronger items, item lock has just become more powerful, right? I mean, there are just a lot of really good items, and a lot of decks are very item-based. And as time has gone by, item lock has gotten more powerful than it used to be in Gym Leader Challenge format. So you're seeing cards like Cryogonal starting to see more play because item lock is such a powerful thing against so many decks. So many top tier decks. Like you can completely stop the Dragon deck from working if you item lock them. You can completely stop most water decks from functioning if you item lock them. And just any deck could just randomly cease to function if you hit him with the item lock. But really big play here from Alex. He's got the Parallel City. And Parallel City, when the blue side is facing your side of the board, you got to play with a 3-card bench. The red side makes it so that your Pokemon's water, fire, and grass attacks do 20 less damage, which of course does not matter to the Psychic Gym Leader Challenge deck. So Parallel City continues to be one of the strongest stadium cards in the format. That's one-sided 3 bench Pokemon pressure. I mean, it's just so nuts. It is crazy. Having Parallel City stick for multiple turns can just win a game outright on its own. We saw, I mean, Ben having to choose which Pokemon to get rid of there off of the Parallel can just put you in some really compromising situations. Not only does it pressure your bench as you don't have enough bench space to set up as many Pokemon as you like, but it also pressures your recovery resources, which is something that I think doesn't get enough credit. Like, when your opponent plays Parallel City against you, if they force you to discard 2 Pokemon, it's like those Pokemon got knocked out. And then all of a sudden, you also have to be dealing with the Pokemon that are getting knocked out, and maybe you weren't planning on having to recover that many Pokemon throughout a game, right? It looks like Alex is just going to promote Cresselia. Cresselia is kind of the new hotness that the Psychic Garbodor decks are playing lately. It's got the Moonglow reverse attack, which allows you to move 2 damage counters from all of your Pokemon and put them on one of your opponent's Pokemon. It is a counter to spread decks. It makes a lot of sense with the Garbodor, because when you play Garbodor, you turn off your own bench barrier, right? So like Mew from Unbroken Bonds or Mr. Mime, you've got Garbotoxin turns those off. So if you want to set up Garbodor, your bench barrier is useless. So you need a different way to solve the spread problem. And I think Cresselia is a really interesting option. In a pinch, I mean, it can do 3 energy for 110 damage. It's not like it's not great, but I mean, it also could take a knockout or 2. If push comes to shove, Cresselia can also attack for like just from very medium amount of damage, which certainly gets the job done sometimes. So it's not like the worst Pokemon to have in your deck otherwise. But Moonglow Reverse is very good at doing what it sets out to do, where, if your opponent uses Ting-Lu and use Ground Crasher, does 30 damage to everything, then you can use Moonglow Reverse, and if you have 6 Pokemon in play, then you're going to be healing 120 damage from your board and moving that to your opponent's side of the board for just 1 energy. So very efficient at doing what it needs to do, kind of shuts down the whole Ting-Lu situation. Makes it so that, they're probably just going to run out of stadiums if they keep trying to Ting-Lu you and you keep using Cresselia, and they're going to be taking way more damage than you are, so. We'll see. Ben's got the Golden Dive Ball there. That is a very cool card. From Primal Clash, I think. Yeah, Dive Ball. I feel like for like the gold items, it's really not even that expensive. Like you can find some nice mod played ones, between $10 and $17 or so. You're paying basically between 10 and 20 bucks for that card. That's a really pretty card. I really like the gold dive ball. I feel like it's one of the better golden items for sure. It just looks really nice. Dang, what a nice looking card. Got TV Boy in the chat saying that Alex has just been riding the 3K winner and finalist decks to easy badges. You're 100% correct. That is exactly what he's doing. He played the fighting deck and won a badge with that. Now he's trying to play the second place deck, and he might just be able to win a badge with that too. Turns out those decks are very good. Yes. For sure. I am really loving the Garbodor Psychic deck. I won't consider building Psychic different now. I'm in love with the Garbodor and what it offers. I also have just really been enjoying playing like a lower to the ground Psychic build that just relies on Malamar and Xatu. Like, I just really like that core. The Malamar, Xatu, Garbodor, just really good core. It's simple. Everything else is a basic. The deck just feels like it does what I want it to do a little bit more consistently, while also being able to put pressure in the right places. So I've been enjoying this Garbodor variant of Psychic quite a bit. Now, Ben just decides to pass, doesn't attack with the Basculegion, is working on building up that Pala or the Seismitoad on the bench. The Palpitoad, that's right, which will evolve into Seismitoad eventually. He's got an energy on it, Octillery. Basculegion kind of stranded here in the active. I mean, it can attack. The Basculegion did end up knocking out the Cleffa earlier. I mean, the 30 damage Grudge Dive. But the weird thing about like poking here with Basculegion is like, are you going to do the 30 damage to the Cresselia? Then Alex could just say, like, I'm just going to keep putting 2 damage counters back over to you. And that's just kind of annoying, right? So Ben, I think making a fine call, doesn't attack with the Basculegion. You don't want to like put damage counters on Alex's board for him to move over. Just doesn't feel good. Got a comment over on YouTube saying that Lightning Spread was such a top deck, and now it is not performing as well because they suppose that Spread has got more respect than it used to, and Fighting is good. Yeah, and I think that, I mean, Fighting being like a top 3 deck right now is really bad for Lightning because almost everything in Lightning is weak to the Marshadow, right? So like the Marshadow can just go invincible for like multiple turns in a row and just go like really stupid on the whole Lightning deck. The guys are also just really squishy. So, and then you've got like the Ting Lu situation. It's really tough to be Lightning against Fighting. I mean, that matchup is just like unthinkable. But then outside of that, the Psychic matchups I think have gotten a little harder, and Psychic is also a top deck. So like when 2 of the top 3 decks are like your worst matchups, it's just not a good time to be a Lightning deck, unfortunately. Right? Like you're like 2 of your top 3 decks are just horrible matchups. All right, Ben is able to find Seismitoad. But doesn't have the attack. So Alex going to continue on the offensive as Ben has been unable to answer this Iron Boulder. And this Iron Boulder may just get to run away with the game. I mean, honestly, Alex Carpenter has got Garbodor in play now. So Ben's abilities are turned off. This is just a really bad situation for Ben. And I think that we're going to see this Garbodor just completely take over the game. That Garbotoxin ability is activated. Iron Boulder is in the active, swinging for 170 damage. Alex is in the process of getting the Necrozma on the bench built up as well. I mean, you could just tell, I mean, how much of an equalizer is this Garbodor? And that's why this card is so good right now, right? Like, look at Ben's board. 3 of the 4 Pokemon on Ben's board are trying to like use abilities. Octillery wants to be able to draw cards. Sobble wants to evolve into Drizzle and use Shady Dealings. Seismitoad wants to make it so that the opponent needs more energy in order to attack. All of those abilities are shut down. On Alex's side of the board, Alex doesn't have any abilities in play right now. He's got Natu and Malamar, which can help juice extra energy into play. So, but Alex doesn't need that right now because all of his attackers, unlike Ben, all of Alex's attackers are just basic Pokemon. So all you have to do is just pop some energy on the basic Pokemon and then disrupt your opponent's abilities out of working, right, with GARB Odor. And then if Ben does find like a field blower to turn those abilities back on, then Alex can be like, okay, thank you, and then use Malamar and Xatu to charge energy into play, then lock the abilities back, and then just like go. It's like, okay, you're saying like you get a turn of abilities, I get a turn of abilities, and then I'm going to turn abilities back off for you again. And the Psychic deck just really thrives in that kind of environment. There are a lot of just really great basic attackers that Psychic can use. And I feel like the Garbodor Malamar Xatu core is just kind of perfect to get those basic attackers up and rolling, while also having the ability to just play as like a big basic ability lock deck. I mean, just basically gives you an answer versus everything. The GARB Odor does. Oh, this is a pretty insane turn from Ben. Holy cow. I mean, off of no abilities, was able to piece together Muscle Band, Stadium Counter, and now this Seismitoad. I mean, this is the perfect card that Ben needs, because now Seismitoad's Echoed Voice Attack is going to be swinging for 140 damage instead of 120 on this first turn. And you could see why Ben decided to just kind of sack another turn, because he is not wanting to lose his Seismitoad to this Iron Boulder. And I mean, with the Buddy Buddy Poffin too, and the Surfing Beach in play, now Ben has got a full board, a fresh Seismitoad in the active spot. Now, unfortunately for Ben, that ability is not working. And you can see how stupid strong it would be if that Necrozma on Alex's bench needed to have an extra energy attached to it. Then, I mean, Alex is much more likely to miss the attack if that's the case. We see the Raihan there in Alex's hand. So Alex does have a knockout if he's got Fighting Fury Belt in the deck. And that's the big thing, is that Alex might actually be short, because he's got Fog Crystal, but I don't think he has a special energy for his Necrozma right now. Necrozma's special laser attack only does 160 damage if it has a special energy attached. So Alex Carpenter could go Raihan, attach a Psychic energy from the discard pile to Necrozma, then go get the special energy off of the Raihan, but then Necrozma would only be doing 160 damage, which would not hit the knockout on the Seismitoad. Basically, Alex was 2 cards short in his hand of being able to respond to the Seismitoad with Raihan, but Raihan would only give him 1 of those 2 cards. So missed the combo by 1 piece, and instead has to settle for a Lily's Determination, which is still a solid shuffle draw 6. Benches the Frillish, so we could see it's maybe kind of like a bailout. A bailout, I would say, would be, you know, if Alex maybe just draws into a Psychic and really not much else, could just go into Frillish. But Alex actually whiffs basic Psychic energy entirely, which is kind of the worst case scenario for Alex. He's got counter energy in hand, but counter energy is not activated, so it only provides a colorless energy this turn. So now Alex is in a situation where he has to sack something. He missed the attack, and we see him just pass with the Cresselia. It doesn't even put the counter energy down. I think that that's probably fine. If you put the counter energy on the Necrozma and Ben ends up using Boss or Guzma or something, like, you're in a really, I mean, you basically lose there. And Ben's just going to use Hex to make sure that Alex does not have any access to abilities this next turn. With the Shopping Center in play, Alex can actually turn off his own Garbotoxin ability to use abilities. So it's a really cool interaction. Shopping centers, a stadium, allows you to take a tool card you have in play and just pop it back into your hand. So with a shopping center, you can actually lift the tool card off of Garboder, which then unleashes, or not unleashes, it unlocks your abilities. And then you can just reattach the tool after you picked it up with Shopping Center, reactivate Garbotoxin, and continue swinging. It's a really cool interaction. We're actually seeing Alex do it right now. And is going to Raihan, get an extra energy attached to that Mewtwo. Did end up having the counter energy and the Fighting Fury Belt in hand. So didn't have to Raihan for any of those pieces. And this Necrozma is going to be swinging for 170 damage, which is perfect math to knock out the Seismitoad. And since Ben Morse played Hexmaniac last turn, Alex can actually afford to undo his own ability lock if he wants to, but I don't know that he wants to give Ben a turn of abilities first. So we do see Alex decide to relock the abilities. And I think that makes sense. And Necrozma's going to come up. Special Laser, 170 damage for the knockouts. Alex will go to 3 prizes remaining. Decides to take Mimikyu. I mean, it's a tough set of options there. You got Dimension Valley, one of the best cards in your deck. You got Xatu, one of the best cards in your deck. But decides to go with Mimikyu. I mean, Mimikyu is kind of that clutch attacker at this point in the game. It can allow you to just chain attacks when it's a do or die situation. The abilities are still locked, obviously, because of Garbotoxin. So Ben still does not have access to any of his abilities and has to respond. I mean, really, Ben is in a tough spot now, right? Because all Ben needs, or Ben is in a really tough spot now because he has to respond to this Necrozma, right? And he doesn't have the abilities to do that. So still is in a really tough spot. I mean, Ben was looking like he was in an okay position when he responded to the Boulder, but now that Alex has been able to solve that Seismitoad problem with this Necrozma, Alex is looking like he's sitting pretty. In like a really good spot in this game. Because Ben would have to handle this Necrozma with something that is maybe not getting handled itself next turn. Like, that's how Ben wins. Does have Aqua Patch in hand, but again, without these abilities, I think he does have Verseeker maybe, though. So Verseeker could make anything happen. That's why I think we see him checking his discard pile so much. Yeah, Verseeker, about the strongest card you could possibly hope for. What are we? I think Ben might have mispromoted here. Is that what he's? I don't know. Why is PALAFIN the one that's getting promoted here? This felt, PALAFIN getting promoted feels like a horrible promote. I don't really know what he's doing there. Because shouldn't Castform have always gotten promoted? Yeah, so I don't understand that line there from Ben of why the PALAFIN got promoted. Looks like he's going to use Versus Seeker for Lily's Determination just to go to 6. Because if the Palafin's on the bench, then you could Aqua Patch to the Palafin, evolve into, or that's a Finizen, excuse me. The Finizen should have always been on the bench, right? Because if you Aqua Patch to the Finizen and then find Palafin out of the deck, I mean, you could just Justice Kick this thing for knockout. Enhanced Hammer, certainly going to be a good play. That could do a lot of work. Alex notably did not take the Dimension Valley off those prizes. And here, I mean, like, really, here, I mean, look, this game is so different. If Alex takes that Dimension Valley instead of the Mimikyu, then he just says, okay, put down Dimension Valley, and if I find Horror Psychic or Mystery Energy, then I'm swinging again. But now, you know, chose to take that Mimikyu. The Mimikyu, very useless right now with where this game is developed to. I think that the Mimikyu over the Dimension Valley is always incorrect. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I think that's actually, if Alex Carpenter ends up losing this game, I think you could pretty much chalk it up to that Dimension Valley not getting the grab there. The more I look at Alex's board and think about it, the Dimension Valley makes it so that Mewtwo also can just attack for 2 energy next turn. So what do you even need Mimikyu for, right? Like, you already have Necrozma in the active and Mewtwo on the bench. Even if you say that Necrozma gets knocked out, if you took D-Valley makes it so your Mewtwo is like attacking very easily. This is the really cool play here. Alex Carpenter has got the shopping center, which turns his abilities back on and then allows him to use Malamar Psychic Recharge to attach an energy from the discard pile to Mewtwo. I mean, just a really, really neat interaction there. Just one-sided ability lock. And we are just in a very tight situation in this game. Both players at 3 prizes remaining. It's about as close as it could possibly get. This Frostlass will be able to, I think, take the knockout. What, 140? You're doing 110. It will actually miss the knockout this turn. Frostlass does 140 damage because Alex used Barrier Attack. And Barrier Attack makes it so that you take 30 less damage. So the Frostlass is missing KO. But the Field Blower will make it so that Frostlass takes KO. So a huge finds there from Ben Morse. The Field Blower, absolutely game-changing. Not only making it so that he could take a knockout, but making it so that he does have access to his abilities again. So we'll have exactly, 1 turn to use these abilities. He could use Octillery's Abyssal Hand. Could use Intellion's Shady Dealings. Do you even want to scoop up net anything here? I feel like just the cast form, right? Yeah. Because you don't want to reset the Finizen, or you don't want to reset any evolving Pokemon. But Ben is trying to get an extra draw, I think, with the Octillery. Now, Ben is going to have to pick up the pace. This game will end, and it will end in a tie. I think Ben is playing kind of at the very limits of what I would consider legal play. He's playing quite slow. Can use Octillery, fill his hand to 5. And then Frostlass will take the knockouts with Spiteful Sigh, placing 7 damage counters on himself does 140 base damage, minus 30 from the barrier attack. 110 will take the knockouts. Ben goes to 2 prizes to Alex's 3. Just 5 minutes left in this game. And a research. I mean, that's about as good as it gets from Alex. I was going to say Alex is just throwing the tool onto the Garbodor before using Malamar, but then I realized that Shopping Center is in play. So that is very cool, as Alex Carpenter is able to put the Floatstone into play, and then after the Sycamore, we'll take the Floatstone out of play, making it so that his Psychic Recharge ability works. And then, at the end of the turn, we'll relock the ability once again. And I have to feel like Alex Carpenter is in a very powerful position in this game. I mean, Ben is up a prize. But Alex does need to start moving if he wants to win this game, because time is ticking. And Alex taking this knockout with the Frillish is actually huge. Frillish doing 20 damage and inflicting item lock with its Oceanic Gloom attack. Alex tying the game up while inflicting item lock. Ben is on the clock. There are 3.5 minutes left in this game, and it goes to +1 turns. Both of these players need to play with a little more urgency if they want to see this game conclude. Especially Ben has to take a knockout. He does have boss's orders, will be able to grudge dive. Looks like he's going to take out the Garbodor this turn. Boss's orders. And Ben's going to go to just 1 prize remaining. Taking out the Garbodor means that he will have access to his abilities on the final turn of the game. And now it's looking like Ben may be able to mount this comeback with the boss's orders 1-hit KO on the Garbodor. Just 1 prize left to take. Ben will guarantee have 1 more turn to play in this game. Guaranteed, because it's +1 turn. Alex needs 2 turns to win. So if Alex wants to have another turn in this game, first of all, he needs to not lose next turn, but then also would need to end turn before time is called, because we are doing +1 turns right now. So Alex certainly going to go in with Mewtwo, the closer in this situation. Ideally, you want a Luxurious Cape for that Mewtwo as well to give it +100 HP, and there it is. Mewtwo has got the Limit Break attack, does 180 damage. But like I said, if Alex wants to have an opportunity to potentially win this game, he does need to end turn before time is expired. Alex also playing, kind of very, I would say slow at this point. I mean, this is the critical turn in the game, so I would say that Alex looks as if he's kind of taken like the, he's moving along now. But I would say, with 60 seconds left, you got to act with a little urgency if you want this game to conclude. Guaranteed. It is going to come down to whether or not Ben can find the winning cards on his final turn. Does have Octillery and Inteleon to do that. Obviously, Alex Carpenter cannot give up 1 more prize card. Zatu's Clairvoyant Sense. And is time going to be called? You got to move, Alex. Now, turns are decided when the player draws their card. All right, so now Alex did get in there. All right, it is Ben's turn. Ben either wins this turn or Alex will have a chance to win on the following turn. Ben's deck is extremely small. And I think Boss's Orders and Intellion, I think, are both in there. Ben has already used his Field Blower, and there is time. So Ben is turn 0. Alex ended his turn with maybe 30 seconds to spare there. I think I see Guzma is in Ben's hand. But I don't know if he could get his hand down to size to use Octillery. Can he? He must be able to. He's got Palafin in hand. I think maybe he's out of energy. Folks, I think Ben is out of energy, right? Does he have an energy in hand? I don't think Ben has the resources to win. So Ben is out of energy. He does not have the final energy he needs to win this game. Boss Palafin would just win. He found Raihan, and Raihan gets him an energy, but this luxurious cape makes it so that he does not win. So Ben can attack, but he doesn't have Muscle Band. If he had Muscle Band, he could just do 230 damage to the Mewtwo with Palafin, with Raihan. And you do Justice Kick plus Muscle Band. Doesn't have Muscle Band anymore. I thought I saw Palafin in Ben's hand, but I guess Palafin is not available. And now Ben has to try and figure out how not to lose. I think that Alex has win. I mean, wouldn't have win if Ben promotes something with over 180 hit points, which he can. He's got Luxurious Cape. Then Alex would have to have Boss or Guzma to win. So it may just end up being a tie. Well, Ben is certainly playing far slower than legal pace of play right now. I understand you're in plus turns, but this is why plus 3 turns has been eliminated from tournament play. Like literally right here. You're literally seeing why, right? Because players will kind of just take a very long time to decide. If the timer is stopped and they get guaranteed turns, players will just kind of take that for all it's worth, right? Ben is going to use Raihan, get Intellion, and just promote the Intellion. And Alex Carpenter has Boss for win, and that is the game. Wow. Alex Carpenter, not what Ben wanted to see. Obviously, when you're chasing the badge like Ben is, Alex Carpenter is the last person you want to be losing to, because Alex Carpenter is already the badge leader with 3 badges so far this year. Now on his way to a 4th, being one of the only players that is 4-0 right now. And you could see why Ben was really racking his head, racking his brain, trying to figure out the best plays possible because of how much is really at stake in this match. If Alex wins this match, not only does he win the game, potentially knock Ben out of his opportunity to earn a badge this week, but also Alex Carpenter that is one step closer to earning his 4th badge, 4 more badges than Ben Morse has so far this year. So you could see why Ben desperately wanted to win that game. Man, that was a wild one, folks. I mean, really, really great game. Well played by both players. I mean, an absolute joy to watch, for sure. That was a great game. GG's to both players.